Thanks sponsors, Topps Panini, Upper Deck, Heritage Auctions, Hugging the Sky Auctions, Mike Stadium Sports Cards, Burbank Sports Cards, Compsy.com, Beckett Media, Beckett Grading, Beckett Authentication. This is Dr. James Beckett, Sports Card Insights. Here's another one of the questions that we dealt with at the Hobby Content Creators Dinner recently at Kyle's Big Show. So thanks participants, thanks listeners.
How about we talk about non-physical cards?
Yeah, sure.
So it can be vaulted cards that you have, but you can't get your hands on them anytime soon.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
That's a non-physical card in a sense.
Everyone's
doing
it.
it. Redemption.
But is that part of the
But it's
hobby?
backed by physical.
You're a vault card. Until somebody wants to buy it from you,
Yeah.
then
I've been vaulted
take
for
possession of
Do you have
it.
any, how many tables do you sell for NFT dealers here, Kyle? Is it, what are those empty tables? I saw a
They're
couple
for
empty
virtual
tables.
tables.
I don't know, there was a guy buying tables.
Holographic
In the top
tables.
loaders I saw that were still wrapped in plastic. I wrestle with what the hobby is, because the hobby's always been all-inclusive, but we're talking about things that aren't cards anymore. Now, I'm perfectly happy with being wrong here, but TCGs, it's not the same, used to be defined as sports cards and memorabilia, but we've obviously NFTs and farm animals on pieces of paper.
But what's a trading card? It's a piece of paper with an image on it.
It's an NFT though. Is an NFT in a hobby if it's not a piece of cardboard with an image on it?
No, it's not a tangible
It's not a
card.
Yeah.
It's a digital trading card.
Yes.
But it's not a card. It's a digital trading binary ones and zeros. It's not a card. A card is,
Or Bitcoin versus cash, right? Bitcoin's not cash. Yeah.
but it's still a currency.
It's a currency.
NFT is not a card. I just don't
It's part
agree.
of the hobby, but it's not a card. The hobby is
It's a
not
different
just
hobby.
cards.
It's a
part
different
of-
hobby.
It's just not the hobby that I feel I'm a part of.
Can an intangible be an asset? That's really the question here, right?
It's the concentric circles. You're defining the hobby as at the center is vintage baseball. And then we're going to expand a little bit to these other sports and newer cards. And then we're going to expand a little bit to memorabilia and autographs. But no, we're not going to expand to NFTs. And so it's just another concentric circle that's out there, that's encompassing, that's trying to piggyback on the greatest hobby of all time.
I totally
Which
agree
I
that
think
I'm
is
being
sports
very
card collecting, but that's just me.
short-sighted here, but I've not always collected vintage cards. I have so much different stuff. The hobby was always to me cards and memorabilia. TCGs are a different hobby. They're cards. NFTs are a different hobby. Ticket stubs are
It's memorabilia.
memorabilia.
Postcards.
Postcards never got respect. Tickets never got respect. Publications never got respect. And now with grading, all those things are
Tickets are-
their consideration.
Yeah,
Tickets
tickets
are
are-
Tickets are
Get
coming.
big
your
right now.
NFT graded and tell me.
When you go to an event anymore, you don't get physical tickets, so all of those became super collectible because you're not going to get.
In the
more in
past,
the
all
future.
these collectibles started out being worthless. NFTs started out being insanely valuable, and then the value's going to go down. All these things were ephemeral.
Does anybody come in wanting NFTs?
No. Okay. Said no one ever that
You
walked
don't have
in the
any in your
store.
showcases?
No, I do. It's the space between
see 'em.
the cards. Yeah. Yeah. It's
So Burbank's not going to create its own NFT.
You're going to have to get a whole new warehouse for all these NFTs.
Yeah, exactly.
Server
You guys
farm.
laugh, but I did a report on this. Mark Cuban's giving away an NFT to everybody who has a ticket to the Dallas Mavericks.
I got them. They're stupid. I get
Do
it.
they have some kind of
I've been a
value?
season ticket holder for 32 years.
Is it just a floating
I
image,
gotta
or does
look
it have a value where you get something special by
It's
using
like
it?
a Bored Ape or something.
Would
I mean,
you-
it's-
Leo's the youngest guy in here. Leo, what do you think about NFTs?
It's hard to explain. Think about it like this.
Dumb it down
Not so
for
long
us.
ago, people were scared of putting credit card numbers on their computers.
Still
know,
not
and it's
still are those people. We surrender to the fact that everybody has our information now.
So everything new is scary. I think that NFTs are a way of expression, no different than clothes. Why do I wear Yeezys? Because I think they look cool and they're comfy, right? There's people that play video games that wearing their characters who wear a green shirt, which favorite color is green. So it's a different form of expression. And some of them have more value than others. Some NFTs are purely pieces of art, no different than you buying a picture and putting it in a frame. Some NFTs have more value, right? Like Mark Cuban is doing once you have a season ticket, you get an NFT, and every time you walk in the arena, you get free popcorn. So it's...
You get free popcorn with yours?
I think you
No.
should be allowed to.
You got the wrong one.
So you didn't get the right one.
Hey, you're head of Beckett Publishing in 2022. You guys are in your conference room. How do you wrestle with the question, what value do we put on these NFTs?
The problem is the cataloging thing that we talked about. We were antagonistic with the licensing entities over the years with the Major League Baseball and the Players Association, but they really did a service. Because if it wasn't licensed, it wasn't like a legit collectible.
Right.
But the NIL, where every kid can be his own brand, his or her own brand.
Texas A&M.
Nick Saban,
Oh,
your enemy, Jimbo. Yeah, I think that's a problem because I don't know how to catalog
Right.
the NFTs. I have no semblance of order of thinking that I need this one or here's the checklist of the ones I'm missing. I just think it's bragging rights. And Leo, if they're $10 each, that's different if they're $10,000 each. I have a hard time having it be fine art as opposed to pop art or easily reproduced nice little things
I
on your
had a
phone.
nice kid in Houston at a show explain NFTs to me as they create their own checklists from the producers and they're like checking boxes.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, that's
I know, but anybody
very
can be a producer.
collectible. Anyone.
And if you had a price guide or a
You
publication
have
or
all-
some coverage,
ton
how
of
would you know
producers.
which ones are legit? We had trouble with that.
Yeah, this is related to that, but different. This is actually a physical item, but you're not owning the physical item if you have a fractional card.
It's securitized. Where the NFTs, you don't really own even a piece of the art.
I think the fractional market's a pretty cool thing, in my opinion. I would love to own a piece of a 52 mantle since I don't have my 52 mantle anymore. So I think that would be a nice thing to do. If I had 10 shares in that, I mean, at least I could say, hey, I own this little bitty, fraction.
I had fractional shares of a 48 Leaf. I think I have to sell them now.
Yeah.
So,
What's your motivation, Logan? Is it I own 10 shares or let's see what this 10 shares is worth?
It's not what it's worth. It's just like collecting anything else.
Right.
Hey, I own part of this card. It wouldn't be for an investment. It would be just for the pure fun of doing it.
it's almost like sports teams. There's minority owners that own very small pieces of sports.
I send $190 in every quarter to the township, to the sewer system, and I own part of the sewer system. It doesn't make me feel any better when I drive past the manholes.
So you're sending your money right down the crapper, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
So the next time that my rim gets dented from a manhole cover, I should come to you?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're in that township.
Keys. The kid that comes over and helps my wife do yard work. He's seen my collection. He's collected some cards, but he told me I like the electronic cards, talking about NFTs, better than regular cards because I can take them anywhere I want. I can show them whoever I want to show them to. And that's what he's grown up doing.
Yeah.
He's always had a phone. That's all he knows.
Should Logan have bragging rights for cards he used to have? In other words, if you're going to show people your collection, is it okay for him to show a picture of the mantle that he used to have? Or is that shameful?
That was back in the 70s.
No, but I'm saying,
early
but if you did,
Polaroid of it.
I'm just saying, you did, or if it was graded, you'd have the serial number. You'd say that was mine.
A lot of us do show pictures of our cards because we keep them in the bank or whatever.
Or even cards he used to have this.
I try not to go back in the background of stuff I used to have because I want it again. It makes me feel like I want to go back and find it again. So I try to accept that it's gone in the background and I try to enjoy what I currently have in the possession now. My site, like back 10 years ago, I was like, I want to put pictures of my whole collection on the internet so I can enjoy them from wherever I am and I can pull them up and
great.
show people. Like this card, I'm looking for the other one of this, like kind of a cool reference thing.
Awesome.
So it becomes an educational thing, but
Rob, is there any cards you've never owned that you wanted to own or that you've sold and you say, I wish I hadn't sold that and I'd like that one back? It doesn't even have to be a super expensive card because it went up in price, but I missed that card. Or do you just treat everything as I'm a dealer, it just comes and goes?
Stock.
Yeah, really, I'm not a collector. I have no cards at home, which people might find incredibly ridiculous, but I have none at home. If you know me on Instagram, you follow what I do, you know what my personal collection is. It's totally 12-year-old stuff, but literally, I don't keep anything because I can always replace it down the road usually. No, I don't want to look at cards when I go home.
But is there anything you've wanted that never walked into your store that you said, I would love for this to have walked into my store so I can have bought it?
Obviously, a Wagner would be the answer.
right on the eBay store,
Everything's
right?
for sale.
Yeah,
Ryan
it
would
would go
have it
right.
sold.
What's that?
Ryan would have it sold.
Would have it
Yeah,
sold
right.
before I bought it. Yeah. Somebody would have traded up into a Wagner rookie with him. But no, it's all transactional with me. And you're a retailer. If you're keeping cards back, you're keeping it away from your customers. My job is to be a retailer of sports cards.
Kyle, you're a retailer, but you're also a bit of a collector. Was there any card if I walked
He's
into
not a retailer. He only buys. He will not sell anything.
Have you ever been to a store? He's a retailer.
Store, yeah.
He doesn't sell anything. He won't let me buy anything. I've tried.
So it's a museum?
Basically, it is a museum.
Okay.
It's a storage unit.
Regardless of what my friend Jeremy is saying, you do sell stuff in the store.
I just tell people it's not for sale.
Well, so,
Make 'em-
but
make
you
'em
get some
want it
pretty
more.
cool items in. But is there anything you would like to see come in that you've never owned before?
I have two Venezuelan Ryan rookies, and that's one that until the last year I haven't owned before, and that's one that I always wanted when I was a kid.
That's a tough card.
Yeah, it's impossible to own one of those, but they're still $3,000 or $4,000, $5,000. How can that be? And so I've been lucky, I've been blessed, and I wouldn't want a harness swagger. To me, that would be like money. Whenever somebody lays down three $20 bills and then a card, they see three $20 bills in a card, and I see three $20 bills and more money over here. So which one do I want?
They're going to vault the cards at Beckett, and you can own an NFT of that card. You still have the card, it's in a vault. But I do know a lot of people that live in New York where they don't have places to store cards, and it does make sense for some people. That NFT makes a little bit more sense to me than just like a random image of a
I
spinning
have it. I have
something.
a PSA set registry app that shows me every card that I have.
Yep, that's what I have. And what I like about the registry is
But where are those cards at?
In my,
his
at
house.
my house.
Yeah, but some people don't have the room to store them at the house, so leaving them at the vault at Beckett.
That's
and
where
having,
ComC really comes in, because then you have a picture front and
Similar
back of
point.
it in
I
your
once wrote a
inventory.
story for Sports Collectors Daily. I spent a New Year's Day, this is before I went to work at ComC, just going through a 68 Topps card set, which was the first one I collected as a kid actively, just so I could see all the cards again. Front and back scans, it was wonderful. I got to be 7 and 8 years old again, and I didn't have to spend a penny.
I'm going to be throwing some more parties and stuff at my house. I'm thinking, I really don't want my collection sitting around here. It might be better off somewhere else. And maybe I'll keep a couple of cards out on my shelf.
But where is somewhere? No, I have visitation privileges
Bank
with my
vault,
cards.
maybe.
That's what I go to the bank, get my cards. I keep my guys in the dark in the bank.
I have digital copies of my cards, but I own those cards. But if you want to go see any of the cards I've got, you can go to the PSA set registry and
right
see
there.
them, and I can show them off to people.
The other
And
thing
that's
you
one
can
thing I do like about that.
The thing you can do with this, though, is my cards are in that vault. I have the representation of it. But if I do want to sell it, I can sell the NFT to someone else. Now they own the card in the vault.
Well,
I don't have to go to
so,
the bank to grab the card and put it and ship
Right.
it and do all that.
And
right?
it works great. Vaults are great for people that are overseas as well. They can get a card shipped to a vault, no tariffs or taxes or anything like that, and then they can sell it from there or eventually liberate it somehow, but they own the card, they just don't physically have
It's great for people with no closets.
Right,
It's
exactly,
also
yeah.
way cheaper than insurance.
Attila that lives in
True.
Hungary that wants...
Because I pay a hefty amount for collectible insurance every year.
What happens whenever you pull all those collectibles out of that vault? Do you pay taxes? Is it capital gains taxes?
I think so. Isn't there some kind of
Well,
tax?
there's
It
sales
depends on
tax.
what state you're in,
You have
though.
to sell it to have capital gains.
Yeah.
If you're just putting your card in the
You
vault.
don't get capital gains if you're a dealer. If you're a dealer, it's business income, it's ordinary income. If you're a collector and you had it a long time and then you sell it, you're not in the business, then it's a capital gain.